So we put out a mass...
Just stop.
Hold on.
Stop. No, I'll do it. Just drive. Just drive. Stop.
So we put out a mass inquiry for questions on commenters.
So the other day on our social media, we put out a open call to anyone that had questions for us. So we figured that since we're pretty much sitting in holiday traffic driving at the pace that we can right now, we figured we would just answer some of those questions. So we're going to take some of your questions that you posted on our social media. We'll go through and we'll
answer them.
We'll answer them. Yep.
Oh, good. Phone broke. Fantastic. Are you serious?
Come on!
Just log out.
I'll log you out. So, Matt Martinez on Facebook asks, how do you keep your camera mounted to your car's dash? Oh. Well, okay, hold on here. Let us show you here. There we are. That right there is the sweet production mount that we have. It's a $6 slip mat from Walmart. Target. Whatever. $6 slip mat from Target. And then this is our original mount. This is the OG setup that we got here from when we were using our iPhones. Yeah, that is
solid.
That is solid, good stuff. All right, so that got that really embarrassing question out of the way first. Thanks for asking that one, Matt. Look like complete hacks. Mark Caruso on Facebook asks, what's your favorite place you've been that hasn't been featured in an episode yet?
Tate's in Lauderhill, Florida. Paul and I took a vacation to Orlando in January to, just kind of escape. And on our last day, we didn't have park tickets. We were leaving that day, like later on at night. And he had previously been there, I had not. So he's like, do you want to just take the 400-mile round-trip journey to Tate?
It was something like 220, 230 miles
something like that each way.
So we
rented a car.
We rented a car in Orlando, drove it to Lauderhill, went to Tate. This really set off the fact that we would take.
Vlog this?
Why don't we take long trips and then just document it? Because we didn't kill each other on the trip. We didn't get into any sort of argument. It was a 500-mile round trip that we had to make the day that we were flying back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So
that store, Tate's, is incredible. It is a straight up mecca. Yeah. It is an enormously large store, and they have everything. That's where I found my Devil's Rejects Bloody Showdown set. That's where Paul actually picked up New Mutants number 98, the first appearance of Deadpool. He picked it up there. Just hands down, like, we have already talked about on multiple occasions, because I follow Tate's on Instagram, like, hey, they're having a sale next week. Should we just jump on a plane and go to Tate's for their sale? Like, we've really debated it.
But then by the time we got down there, even with our plane tickets and everything, we wouldn't have any money to buy.
Okay.
Get in your own lane.
Get in your own lane. Thank you, New York. Thanks.
You notice how when you yell at someone on the road, you're yelling at the state that they're from?
Yeah. God damn you, Florida.
Damn you, Pennsylvania.
Next question.
Okay, let's pop on over to Instagram, at Comic Trips on Instagram. Follow us. Oh My Crease, Lissy from Instagram.
Oh, hi, Lissy.
How long do you guys spend searching for these treasures in a day, and do you ever look for something specific? We both work quite a bit. We're both very busy humans, and
so the weekends
we actually still work, but we try and squeeze in between working on weekends these trips. So I would like to say that a lot of times we're actually traveling for a longer amount of time than we're usually in the store.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Because when we're in the store, we're looking for specifics.
Right, and that's the second part of the question. Do you ever look for something specific? Usually, yeah. We have our lists. in the pockets, and then we have kind of in our brains the sort of brands that we're looking for. And yes, we do look for specifics, and I would say at any given stop we'll spend maybe an hour or two in there, so I would say that's pretty safe. You know, it's nothing crazy. We don't go wild with it. Scott Smith, our Facebook pal, asked, what's your favorite collectible? Good question. What's your favorite collectible?
You put me on the spot. It would have to be a toss-up between the Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects Bloody Showdown set that I got at Tate's, or my Uncanny X-Men Deadpool figure that I had signed by Rob Liefeld's.
At Wizard World.
At Wizard World. That would probably, those two are, yeah, for me, those are...
Having the very first Deadpool action figure is awesome.
Yeah, what would be yours?
I'm pretty terrible at these what's your favorite thing because I love so much stuff. I would have to say I'm going to say it's a, what do you think, is that an 18-inch figure? The large, posable Hulk Hogan figure that I have from 1985. Pretty sure it's LJN from what I remember. I actually met Hulk Hogan. I had him sign it for me.
It has a certificate of authenticity.
It has a certificate of authenticity because I had it signed on spot, and they authenticated it right there. Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a good question. Yep.
Put us on the spot there.
Yeah, it was good. So, all right. Jason Dalton from Facebook, also known as JC the Comic Book Geek, JC the Comic Geek from YouTube. He's always chatting with us, interacting and stuff. What got you started in comic book collecting? If you had to pick only one hobby for the rest of your life, which one would it be? Toy collecting, comic books, or video games, and why?
Well, I'm not the comic book collector. That's actually Paul. I have a few Deadpool comics. I mean, they're nothing like too valuable.
You're more along the lines of toys and pop culture
I'm
items.
very specific. And he bought me a few Star Wars at Wizard World to like get me started on collecting. But when we're out and about, I'm not the first to jump into like pulling out from my collection because I don't really have one. I have the Power Rangers comics.
You're a recreational collector.
I would collect toys, but I'm gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
I think we're both gonna need a bigger boat.
What got me started in comic book collecting was actually I was collecting baseball cards as a kid first. I had thousands and thousands of baseball cards when I was younger. Albums full. I have very, very few left. And I remember going down to my local hobby shop down the street from where I lived. I think there's a laundromat there now. But I remember about a month before my 10th birthday, I was taking some allowance money down to get more baseball cards, and I happened to see a really reflective, shiny comic book cover like out of the corner of my eye, and that was Uncanny X-Men number 300. And I decided to pick that up, and that was my first comic book. It was about a month before my 10th birthday, and that's kind of what started it. And then, you know, truth be told, I got out of comic book collecting for quite a while. I never really stopped toy collecting, but comic book collecting I got out of for a while because I lost so many when I was 13 or 14.
It hurt, right?
Yeah, and then I lost a bunch again in a storage unit snafu a few years ago. So it really kind of took the wind out of my sails with that, but I've really kind of rekindled my love and bit of a renaissance, so to speak, going back in and trying to collect a bunch of stuff. It's actually another very good question. Let's see. Oh, we got one for Kat, specifically for Kat. I guess you could say, yeah. Abby at Bibbles from Instagram. What's your favorite brand of lipstick? And I love you so much.
Aw, I love you too. My favorite brand of lipstick. Oh man. Well, for lasting power, if I don't want that bitch to move, I'm probably gonna grab Kat Von D's Everlasting liquid lipsticks because they're not too drying and those sons of bitches just don't budge. And for like color selection and just like everyday wear, I'd probably just gravitate towards my MAC lipsticks because I mean you can't go wrong, and they smell like cake and vanilla. Oh, and the lipstick, I got asked this a few times actually. The lipstick color that I'm wearing in the webisode for South Jersey Geek Fest. It was like a purple lipstick. That's Kiko Cosmetics Taupe or number 524. Fun facts.
I don't really usually do lipstick.
Yeah, what's your favorite brand of
these are natural beauties right here. So, good.
Good question.
Yeah.
I like answering makeup questions.
Yay. So, our good friend Neely Akers, who we met
Millie.
at Wizard World.
Hello, Millie.
Hello, Millie. If you could have any collectible or comic without money being a problem, what would you get and why? Ooh.
Oh, Millie.
Ooh, Millie. Hit me where it hurts.
Well, I would get the Millennium Falcon, the extraordinary one. Extraordinaire Millennium Falcon.
So the one of 500 from Toys R Us in 1997.
If money was not an object, and I was just, here's all of the toys ever, which one do you want? I would probably take that enormous Toys R Us exclusive.
Which is crazy because those aren't the most expensive things in the world. You could buy a Hulk 181 for the same price as a Millennium Falcon Extraordinaire. It's just they're so much harder to find than anything.
Yeah, that's what I want. Or I would want the original Star Wars Stormtrooper action figure from Kenner on card. Not the Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back, like the first run of a Stormtrooper action
Pretty good one. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I would have to say that I would either want the original 12 pre-order set. Remember the
Star Wars?
Yeah, remember the Star Wars original?
On the stand?
On the stand with the original card and backing card. We've seen those complete sets even with reproduction.
Yeah, Frank has one. It's a toy store.
We've seen reproduction backing ones with full complete sets go for like $350, $400. I would either say I would go for that or, and I'm not sure what the very first Hulk Hogan toy is.
But I want it.
But I'm going to have to do some research, which is odd because I know so much about Hulk Hogan. I'm not sure what the first toy that was released of him was. I would try and go back and find that on the shelf. I would probably get an X-Men #1 simply because my grandmother collected comics when she was younger in her early 30s, and she lost a majority of her collection. Her husband, my grandfather, threw them away. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would kind of get that back to, for retribution of my family name.
Good one.
Yeah. BJ Wanland, a friend of ours that we also met at Wizard World. Yep. Do you and Paul have favorite franchises other than the ones you've mentioned in the past videos? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a pretty good one.
Favorite franchises?
I am a huge Men in Black fan, at least for branding. I don't know why. Now, obviously, they weren't huge in the comic book world and things like that, but I realize that we stick a lot to Marvel, and we kind of dabble in some DC. For franchise, I would have to go for Men in Black as far as like movies and pop culture go. Absolutely love everything about the series. But comic books franchises, I'm actually a pretty decent Captain America fan. We don't really touch on that very much because I haven't organized my Captain America comics yet.
Okay.
What about you?
Franchises? Well, I mean, I don't ever really touch on the fact that I absolutely love Disney princesses. Like, I actually am a Disney princess.
Our other friend, Ryan DiBiase from Rue TV. Where do you guys store all your toys and comics from hoarding up week after week?
Well, I have a shelf. Still at my parents' house, I have a shelf.
Yeah.
Like an IKEA bookshelf.
Yeah, again, she's much more reserved about collecting and hoarding than
Yeah, and I think it's 4 or 5 like little cubes. So I've got some of my stuff there, and the prints, I also collect a lot of prints, and I keep them like safe, tucked away in my closet. But at home,
mine have
you've got lots of long boxes. We have tons of long boxes to put our comics in, but I think we just kind of pile things up in the corner, like we stack them neatly.
We don't have the adequate amount of room to properly display anything yet, so all these Uncanny X-Men figures and things that we've picked up, a lot of them are they're just kind of starting to pile up, and it's actually kind of getting a little bit cramped, and we're going to have to figure out a way to store them properly and display them better.
You have your 2 shelves of Back to the Future and Hulk Hogan and then Jason Voorhees on the wall.
Yeah.
Like he has some shelving, and then he's pinned some of his more nicer cards, I guess you could say, of Jason Voorhees stuff to the wall.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan stuff and Terminator stuff.
For the future, we're really just probably going to make like a collage of the Uncanny X-Men figures and put them up on the wall and on like nice shelving. But we don't have the room to do that yet. So right now, all of our stuff is in boxes, or it's lined up, stacked neatly in the corner in our like office area.
Okay, our friend Chris from over in Northern Ireland hit us up on Twitter. If you were to go anywhere in the world to get comics and collectibles, where would you go? You two rock, and I love your videos.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Anywhere in the world? I'd probably go to California.
Frank and Sons?
Yeah. Which I've never been to California, and I'm just absolutely dying to go. So somebody fly us out there.
I would go either to California or to Japan.
Ooh, good one.
Imagine being able to find original Power Rangers stuff over in Japan.
That's a good one. And while we're in Japan, we'll go ride the Back to the Future ride that they still have at Universal Japan.
Right.
Good question.
Right.
We gotta start saving up for a Japan trip.
Comic Trips International.
Take this bitch overseas.
Shanine Terry on Facebook. Have you thought about pitching your web show idea to one of the TV channels? It would make a great TV show because as a collector, what you guys are doing is a lot more interesting than what they have been doing on insert popular television show on AMC here.
Well, thank you.
All things considered, we love that show.
We take a lot of inspiration from there.
We take quite a bit of inspiration from it, and we're just very big fans of the universe that has been created by the creator of that show. So, and I mean, obviously to each his own, but I feel like, to be honest, I don't know. Like,
if we were given the right deal where we, didn't have to lose our creative control, then absolutely. But you never know nowadays, and like sometimes you find out things are like maybe not what they seem, or people change. And I would definitely, absolutely take this to the television if we were given the right circumstances. And I'm not gonna, and I know you probably feel the same, that I'm not gonna budge on certain like.
Right. See, this is something that we created from the ground up. This is legitimately all us. And I mean, it hasn't even really gone that far. It's gone pretty far because obviously people are asking us questions. But I don't think I would be able to do it if we lost any sort of creative control or we had to completely change a format of the show.
I would definitely love to take this to television because you never know who we would inspire or who we would help along the way. Or, I would love to do that, to like really get ourselves out there, because Paul and I, we love meeting people and getting people inspired and showing people where to go and what to look for. So
we've already met so many awesome people in the short time doing this. And
I just want to help everybody and inspire everybody.
Everybody should be able to collect and do what they love, and
even not just collecting,
never grow up,
but like following their dream, like setting a goal and saying this is what I want to do, and just following it. That was seriously
you got so deep right there. It's just because we love what we do. As expensive as it's starting to become.
But we're go-getters and we're dream followers, and this is what we want to do. And I want other people to feel the same.
Ronald Shade. I don't think it's Sade, but it's Shade. Ronald Shade on Facebook. What is your big fish that got away? Toy or comic that you had in your hands but passed on and now can't find again? At Wizard World in Philadelphia, the stand where I got all of my action figures, all of them, 3 for $20. The guy had opened from the factory the Toy Biz box of Batman Bat Caves from like 88, 89. Now, mind you, this is the first time that they had ever been opened from the Toy Biz factory, the actual shipping box. And he opened the box and he was selling them in box, never touched by human hands, for $150. Which $150 sounds like a scary number, but
it's not.
That Bat Cave, like it was like the Michael Keaton era Bat Cave and everything with Bob the Henchman and whatnot and all that stuff. That is such an unbelievably expensive toy right now if you find it in decent condition or in the box. So I would definitely say that or the Hulk 181 that was signed by Herb Trimpe that we saw at Camden Comic-Con.
That was a good one.
Those were the ones that really kind of got away, but it just all comes down to dollars and cents. And
for me, it would be the first appearance of Punisher at Midtown Comics in New York. It was $250, I believe.
It was so inexpensive.
But it was also 20% off.
Yeah, couldn't pull the trigger on it for some reason. I don't know why.
That would probably be the one that.
And now every one that we've seen so far is
like $500.
$500. Yeah.
Stop.
Cool. Awesome. Brian Sharp, aka Pop Hunter SC, one of our good friends on YouTube who we're always chatting with.
What up?
If you had the chance to take a sports almanac back to yourself in Back to the Future 2, what's the first thing that you would buy with your winnings? Ooh. So, if it would be the younger me, that would be, I
would take that money, take some of it, give it to my mom and dad for all the bullshit I put them through. Like, here's like restitution for being a shitty child.
Okay.
Or
that's pretty honest.
I would do that, and then I would take some of it, buy some land, and start an animal sanctuary because I've always wanted to do that, and I'm gonna do it. And when I get older,
I
and
definitely
I've got
see
enough
us
money,
doing that.
I want to start an animal sanctuary and take in all the animals that people don't want or can't take care of, and then I would put some aside and start saving.
I would. My problem is that when I got brought back the book, I'm not really that old as it is now. You know, I'm in my early 30s, you're in your late 20s. So if we were to go back to a time, say when we were in like high school, when I was in high school, what was big was Jenkos and
Hot Topic, friggin'
Hot Topic
UFO
stuff.
pants.
So what I would prefer to do is I would prefer to take back the almanac to my mother in the early 70s, and I would have her buy up a bunch of comic books. I would say, buy these, keep them away for your child. You know, buy the original X-Men and the original Avengers runs, you know, because they were so much more easy to get a hold of back then. I would also have her go to the store and buy every single Star Wars toy as it came out for each one. Just put it away in storage, yeah. Because when I was a kid, if I was in high school, like how old Biff went back to young Biff in high school, he was 17. Again, I was 17 in the year 2000, 2001. What was big then? Tamagotchis? Pokemon, like me. I never really got into Pokemon, but I would probably go back to my mom or one of my other relatives and tell them, buy these for your kid. I'm not gonna have a kid. No, you're gonna have a kid, and he's gonna grow up to be awesome. But buy these for him and just put them away in a storage unit.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. Very good question.
I'm over here like, I would save all the animals. And Paul's like, I would buy all of the things.
Give me all of the things. Give me all the toys! So,
this question comes from my mom, who did not Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook us. She did a lifeline. She called in. She asked, what do we look for when we pick up a comic book? Like, how do we know it's old? Or, like, what do we look for, like, when we see the comic, condition-wise? And I think Paul is a good one to answer for that.
Yeah, well, as we stated before, we're not really resellers, you know, unless we find a double of something and it's an amazing deal. We just buy things to keep them. So condition is about 9/10 of the factor in a price. You know, with comic books, a good rule to go by is if you ever, you know, want to find something that has a chance of being a little more valuable, look for somewhere the price is under 75 cents on the cover. You know?
Or, I mean, you also could reference online. Go to that run online and see which ones are key issues.
Yeah, information is everywhere on the internet now, but, you know, You can sometimes tell by the style of the cover. A lot of 70s and 80s Marvel runs, they actually have the year right down the spine.
And let's say you've got double copies of something, and something has a little picture of Spider-Man in the lower left-hand corner, and something has a barcode in the lower left-hand corner. What does that mean?
So that means one of them is a newsstand edition, one of them is usually like a direct mail edition or something like that, which it wasn't on a newsstand. Now, some people will go back and forth and say that, well, if you find a newsstand edition in good condition, it's worth more than a direct mail or direct subscription edition because it was on a newsstand or it was meant for a newsstand and it was never touched. That's also debatable. It's kind of a gray area apparently in the comic book world, but what it is a good thing is if you really have a ton of comics and you really want to start collecting doubles, you can get the newsstand edition and as well as a direct ship edition.
So the direct is the one that has the little Spider-Man or whoever
it has some sort of insignia on it, yeah, instead of the barcode.
The newsstand is the barcode one, so...
All right, cool.
Good question, Mom.
Yeah, solid question, Mom. So, all right, let's go for one more. And who would you say you've learned the most of your comic knowledge from? Is it just something you've accumulated over the years, or have you learned a lot from vendors over the last few?
I've learned a lot from you.
Okay.
I've learned a lot from TV, and I learned a little bit from my brother.
I have learned a decent amount from watching documentaries and watching a lot of YouTube channels and things like that. Obviously, as being a collector over the years, too, as well, I just learned little ins and outs, little tips and quips that I learned from experts and people that I talk to. Obviously, the one and only Robert Bruce has been a great mentor to us and, you know, told us certain things to do, certain things to watch out for, and so forth. So, you know, he's definitely been an awesome factor in helping us as well. And then just, you know, there's just general knowledge that we've gained over time in doing our own thing.
These were some good questions. You put us on the spot.
Yeah, I dug it. I thought it was wow, someone farted. Oh, man. What a good Q&A for our first thing. What's some really awesome stuff.
So, do we have any special announcements coming up?
Yeah, actually. So, we're going to go ahead and let you know that Season 2 is going to begin on Monday, June 15th.
And it'll encompass Wizard World Philadelphia. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this one airing because we've kind of upgraded our production at home.
We're going to guarantee, I think we can guarantee at least another 10.
Yes.
We'll do at minimum another 10. And we will try and take all the points that you have given us and
visit some new places.
Visit new places. We'll try and take the little suggestions that you have given, and hopefully we can just make the web series bigger and better with you. You know, with you guys at our backs helping us and letting us know what you want. So for everything, thank you very much. Yeah, keep giving us suggestions. Leave a comment in the, you know, in the area below. Follow us. Obviously, give us a shout out if you want on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. We're at Comic Trips everywhere.
Literally everywhere. We did that in one take.
I know.
All right, guys. Autobots, roll out.